Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're going to be a little practical tonight. How many of you have heard of the monthly Sankirtan festival? Are they doing the monthly Sankirtan festival here? You're doing it. Okay, good. Very good. So the goal of this seminar is to increase the Sankirtan festival, monthly Sankirtan festival, and also to increase the daily book distribution. How many of you go out more or less daily on book distribution? How about 4 times a week? Anybody go out 4 times a week? Okay, we've got a couple. We've got a few. Okay. Hopefully we can increase that. So many devotees here in the Bombay temple, Mumbai temple, should increase in the daily distribution of books. But yeah, most can't do that, a lot of services. But this is something that is very, very pleasing, that we increase this very important service. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said the only lack in society is Krishna consciousness. So therefore he emphasized the importance of book distribution. And he told Prabhupada, if you get money, print books. And he was a very grave person, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Sometimes if he would be walking down the street and there would be a Mayavadi in front of him, they would cross the street to get away from him, because he would grab them. Why are you cheating the people? Tall, powerful person. But if a devotee went out and just distributed a few books, then he would express his pleasure. Oh, thank you so much for doing this. Yeah. So, Lord Chaitanya came and he opened the storehouse of love of God. He was going all over India, preaching Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy name. And he encouraged Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami to write books. So in so many ways he was spreading Krishna consciousness. And great success. Millions of people were chanting Hare Krishna. After some time he left, of course. And due to so many different apasampradayas, the doors of the storehouse of love of God had gradually almost closed. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared and he opened them up again. Bhakti Vriksha. Thousands of people were involved in the Bhakti Vriksha. You have Bhakti Vriksha here also? Yeah? Bhakti Vriksha? They have here? No? You know Bhakti Vriksha? They have here? Yeah?
It's a course, right?
Huh?
It's a course.
Yeah. You have meetings. with people and you increase and you make more bhakti, you may have, okay, good. So, but he needed some help. A ray of Vishnu, he needed a ray of Vishnu. Because Kali Yuga needs help. Yeah. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur appeared and he opened the doors wider. He was preaching also so much. When he was preaching, eventually he was preaching so much, it was the major spiritual movement in India. 64 temples all over India. And he was sending disciples to Europe, England, Germany. Not much success. But this was his intention. He wanted to spread Krishna consciousness around the world. And therefore, at the first meeting that he had with Srila Prabhupada, he said, "You're intelligent young men." He was there with his friend. "You're intelligent young men. You should preach this message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Western speaking world." And Prabhupada said, "Who will hear our message? We're a dependent country." So for 2 hours they spoke. And Prabhupada was firmly defeated. And he was happy about that. First time he'd ever been defeated. He's smart, Prabhupada's smart. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said in so many words that the spreading of Krishna consciousness is not dependent on some political arrangements. So that was in 1922. 43 years later, Prabhupada goes to New York City. As he said, better late than never. So he went to New York City and he preached and he preached and he preached. And he opened wide the doors of love of God again, like no one ever in history. In Russia, Prabhupada opened up Russia. Now in China, so many people are becoming devotees, thousands of devotees. All over the world, people are chanting Hare Krishna, serving Krishna, mainly because of this book distribution. And therefore he called it the Brihat Mridanga, means the big Mridanga. We all like kirtan, yeah? We all like kirtan. Chanting, dancing. I was just thinking this morning that Prabhupada gave us such a nice process. Yeah. Chanting Hare Krishna, dancing, taking prasadam, associating with nice devotees. So we're very fortunate. So there's so many nice kirtaniyas. Yeah. Bibi Govinda Maharaj, yeah. Madhava, so many nice kirtaniyas. So there's also the Prabhupada purport kirtaniyas. Yeah. Prabhupada's purports are also kirtan. And many people, by reading Prabhupada's books, they do kirtan. How many of you joined because you received a book? How many of you joined because you received a book? Oh, not so many. How many of you joined because friends, introduced by friends? How many of you came because of prasadam? Right, they all came up then. So, many ways that people are coming to Krishna consciousness. But this is still a main way that people are hearing about Krishna. And it's so important that Prabhupada said that that if someone just touches the book, or they read one line, it can change their life. One page, what to speak of, they read a whole book. Yeah. So it's very, very important that we distribute this knowledge. And amazing things happen. Actually, book distribution, it's an adventure. It's a nice adventure. You never know what's going to happen when you go on book distribution. And we have to use our intelligence. Prana artha dhya vacha. As Krishna, he says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the duty of everyone to dedicate their life for the benefit of others. Prana, their life. Now, what are people dedicating their life to? Just satisfying their mind and senses. That's all. But Krishna wants people to dedicate their life for the benefit of others. And the best benefit that people can receive is Krishna. Krishna consciousness. So this is the best service we can do for humanity. This is the most philanthropic activity we can do for people. Giving them Krishna. And Prabhupada wanted devotees to give their life. Prabhupada did it till his last day. Yeah. Preaching. Such a wonderful example for us. Yeah. And it's such a glorious thing to give our life to. Because this is what's lacking, Krishna. Prana artha. Artha means wealth. So this is the charity, this is the highest charity, giving Krishna to others. This is real wealth. When we're distributing books, we're not distributing paper and ink. We're distributing gold, diamonds. Prabhupada says in one purport that Krishna is compared to a diamond, and the pure devotee is compared to gold. If you have a gold ring, it's very beautiful, and you put a diamond in there, a blue diamond. You know they have blue diamonds. Very attractive. So we're giving out gold and diamonds, priceless gems. So we have to understand how valuable this is. People think that they're a success if they make a lot of money, they got a big house, expensive car, right? That's success. That's not success. Because they have to give it all up. It's all temporary. But real success is when people hear about Krishna and take Krishna consciousness seriously. Maybe you can ask the children to not speak, okay? Thank you. So this is real success. And therefore Lord Chaitanya, he says, Prema dana banavyata daridu jivan dasakori vitanamor deha prema dana. Lord Chaitanya says if one does not have love for Krishna, then one is a daridra jivan, a poor soul. Daridra jivan, a poor soul, if one doesn't have love for Krishna. And therefore he says, therefore my dear Lord Krishna, please engage me in your service, and all I want as salary is love for you. This is the real salary, getting love for Krishna. Money, comes and goes. I've known so many people become millionaires and then lose it all. You know, hankering and then lamenting. Yeah, money doesn't bring happiness. People think that, but money doesn't bring happiness. Love brings happiness. Money doesn't bring happiness. With money you can get some things. You can maybe get some things you want, but things don't bring happiness either. Love brings happiness. This is where the happiness is. People don't know that. People are, as it said, that previously people used to love people and use things. Now they love things and use people. More and more this is happening. So many things, people have. It's like in America, 100 years ago there was a survey done to about 200 people. What is your greatest fear? And the greatest fear was war. Because about 50 years earlier there was a civil war in America. So they didn't want war anymore. Now just about 5 years ago they did another survey, again about 100 people. What is your greatest fear? And the greatest fear was losing their cell phone. "99 of them said greatest fear is losing the cell phone." Some of you might have had that experience too. Huh? Scary, isn't it? So we love things now. But no. It's like I saw one devotee did a cartoon. The guy's in his coffin, and he sits up and says, "Hey, I forgot my cell phone." You can't go with your cell phone. You have to leave it behind. But if we develop our love for Krishna, we keep that. Whatever devotion we accumulate, whatever service we do, we keep that. And wonderful things happen on book distribution. I'll tell you a couple of instances I've had. I was distributing books in Los Angeles, and I approached one man, and I was showing him the book. And he was showing some interest, but he was a little flickering, "Well, no, I'm not interested. I probably won't read it. I'm not interested." So then I pointed to his head, and I said, "Up here you're not interested." Then I pointed to his heart, "But here you're very interested." And he said, "Okay, you got me." So prana artha diya. Diya means intelligence. So we got to use our intelligence. We got to use our head. Got to convince them. They give so many arguments. Why? Why? Do not take it. In the LA airport also, I approached one Indian man, offered him the Bhagavad Gita. He said, "Oh, I have something to show you." I said, "Okay." So he pulled out the Bible. I said, "Well, isn't that ironic? I'm an American, and I'm offering you the Bhagavad Gita. You're of Indian background, and you're pulling out the Bible. Isn't that ironic?" I said, "I've read the Bible. Have you read the Bhagavad Gita?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, you should find out what your great ancestors used to read." Okay, I'll take the Bhagavad Gita. So it's nice, actually. Book distribution is so nice. Many years ago, one devotee was just telling me how many years ago, back in the 1980s, his father was a big doctor, famous doctor in Burma, and he was even working with the United Nations. And two friends of his went to America, some business trip, and they met one devotee who gave them a BTG, Back to Godhead magazine. And they said, "What are we going to do with this?" Because they were Buddhist. And they remembered their friend, who was a Hindu, the doctor, He's a Hindu. Oh, we'll give it to him. So they went back to Burma. And they, when they saw him, they gave him this BTG. And he took it, and put it in his house. Never looked at it. But his son, his 17-year-old son, he saw it there, and he opened it up, and he started reading it. And found it quite interesting. And in the magazine, there was a little thing, little paper you fill out, and you could send to Los Angeles and get a free book coming back. So he did that, he filled it out, he sent it to Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, they were like, wow, look, we've got someone who wants a book from Burma. They never got that before. Yeah. So they knew of one brahmachari that was preaching in Thailand. So they sent the free book and the address to this devotee in Thailand. So at that time in Burma, you could only get a visa for 1 day, 24 hours, then you had to leave. So this devotee thought, wow, here's someone that's interested in Krishna. So he went to Burma, and he found this address, and this young man, he went to his home, and he saw this brahmachari in his house, holding this little slip of paper. And he had the book for him. And he thought, wow, that's pretty good service. You know? And he had many more books. So he bought more books. And he found it all very interesting. But in Burma, there was no temple. Not allowed. So, but he was reading the books, and he was very interested, and he became more and more attracted to Krishna. And then he found out about some devotees in Singapore, where we also weren't allowed to have a temple, but he knew there was devotees there, so he went to Singapore and he got some association, he got some training on Krishna consciousness, and then he went back to Burma, and he was reading the books and chanting, and to make a long story short, he started preaching all around Burma. And now there's 12 temples in Burma. From one magazine. And the person who received the magazine didn't read it. The person that person gave it to didn't read it. Somebody else read it. So book distribution is magic. Yeah, we just gotta get the books out there. And these books are not different than Krishna. So they have a way of getting around to the person that's actually ready for it. Yeah. We just have to, do our service and get the books out there. It's a little austere, going out and convincing people to take a book and give a donation. Yeah. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the difficulty that one undergoes in preaching Krishna consciousness is 1,000 times more purifying than any other austerity. So it's great purification also. And we all want to get pure, right? We came to Krishna consciousness to get pure, right? To become pure servants of Krishna. So this is a quick way. Prabhupada said this is the quickest way to get recognized by Krishna. And another thing is that we develop good qualities by going out on book distribution. There's a statement, Titikshaya Karuniya Maitra Chikina Chandasu Samatvena Jasarvama Bhagavan Samprasidati. That Krishna is very pleased when his devotees approach people with these 4 qualities. He's immediately very pleased. Titikshaya, tolerance. When we go out, we have to tolerate. Yeah. What do we have to tolerate? Some people will say, no, That happens, right? You got to tolerate the no's. But the no's are good, because without those, we don't develop tolerance. When you're living at the temple, there's not much you have to tolerate, right? Because you're around nice devotees and kirtans and prasadam. Not much to tolerate, right? You go out on book distribution, you got to tolerate the no's, you got to tolerate the heat. Yeah. So, but this tolerance is very good. One must think oneself lower than the straw on the street, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, we could chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So tolerance is very important. Karunya, if we're not tolerant, then we can't become compassionate. And compassion is a wonderful quality. And we're all sitting here because of the compassion of the great acharyas. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Because of these great acharyas' compassion, we're chanting Hare Krishna now, associating with wonderful devotees, taking nice prasadam. Confirmed, you see? So we should be very grateful. And if we're not grateful, then we're great fools. Right? So this is the one way to show our gratitude. By doing what these great acharyas did, spreading Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Prabhupada, he had to write the books. He had to get them printed. And then he was distributing them. He had to do everything. All we have to do is go to the book room, right? And get some books and go out and offer them to the people. So much easier for us. Imagine if you had to do the whole thing. You know? Prabhupada did that. So this is a way to show our gratitude. Go out. It's not that difficult. Go up to people and offer them Krishna consciousness. But one thing is, 95% of our ability to distribute books is in our own consciousness. Therefore, good sadhana is very important. Chanting our rounds attentively. See, this book distribution gives impetus for us to chant good japa, because you know, I'm going to be going out there, I'm going to be approaching people, I got to be in good consciousness, right? We know, right? If you don't have to go out there and approach people, you know, you may not have such an intense impetus to chant good japa. But that impetus is there when you know, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be approaching people. I got to be Krishna conscious. So your japa is much more refined. You know. So it gives us good impetus to be serious in our Krishna consciousness. To read Prabhupada's books. This is where we get our inspiration. This is the juice. Yeah. Devotees ask me sometimes, how is it, Vijaya? You've been distributing books for 4 decades, 40 years. How? I'm inspired by reading Prabhupada's books. Such a nice thing we have. You get a nice thing, then naturally you want to share it with others. People ask me sometimes, why are you doing this? I'm distributing books, and why are you doing this? I tell them, well, I got something nice, I want to share it with you. So yeah, we have something very nice. We have the nicest thing on the planet. When I was in Mayapur recently, I was outside the campus there, and I saw this bird. The most beautiful bird I ever seen. It had turquoise feathers. It's amazing, so beautiful. But you know what Prabhupada said the most beautiful thing in the world is? The Bhagavad Gita. Much more beautiful than a bird. Prabhupada says that in the purport. The most beautiful thing in the world is the Bhagavad Gita. And it's spoken by the most beautiful person in the world, Krishna. Most beautiful person in all creation, Krishna. And if we read the Bhagavad Gita, we become beautiful. And the people who receive the books and read the books, they also become beautiful. So this is the power of Prabhupada's books. It's changing people's lives all over the world in a very positive way. You know, Kali Yuga is becoming more and more degraded as time goes on. But as time goes on, more and more books are being distributed also. Last year we distributed over 9 million books. And now we've distributed throughout the world over 500 million books. About 520 million books around the world. And people are reading them. Sometimes devotees say, well, we're distributed so many books, but where's the people that are getting the books? They're not joining. We don't know. Just like in the airport, I would distribute books, and people would get a book, and they would go to another country. When I was in Norway 2 years ago, one man actually came to me and he said, you know, you gave a book to me 22 years ago in the Los Angeles airport. He got a book in LA, went to Norway, became a devotee, he became a book distributor. So that's another nice thing about book distribution is they make more book distributors. So many people, they got books from me and then they would go to another country. Therefore, it's appropriately called Brihat Mridanga, the Great Mridanga. Someone gets a book one place and then they go somewhere else and become a devotee. And also, Bombay is a very transient place. A lot of people come from other places, other countries. It's very international. So people get books here and they go back to their country and they become devotees. So this is the compassion of a devotee. So the more we give Krishna out to others, the more Krishna, he'll give himself to us. You get closer to Krishna. Prabhupada said book distribution means that you're on the fast track back to Krishna. Fast lane, you know, just like there's the fast lane, the slow lane. So this is the fast lane back to Krishna. Because Krishna is very pleased with this. He wants to see us back home. He wants to see us back home. And this is the way to, or one way, to help them back home. So, maybe we can open this up now for some discussion. I don't want to take the floor myself. Anybody have any question or comment? Yes.
Prabhuji, how do you approach a Muslim person? Because
How do we approach
a Muslim person.
a Muslim person? Okay.
And what kind of books you show? Because there are so many pictures of Krishna on them. By seeing, some people will reject.
Okay. What I tell people when I speak to people of another faith, I tell them, this book gives very good arguments against atheism. So you'll like this book. You see, we're on the same side. You believe in God, I believe in God. It's so nice to meet you. There's so much atheism now. Atheism is growing. So we're on the same side. And there's so much to learn about God. I tell them, isn't it? God is unlimited. So much to learn about God, so you can learn more. And many of them take. With any other, Christianity, I tell them that. Muslim. So much more to learn. Even atheists, I tell them, there's so much to learn. You like culture, right? Yeah. Practically everybody likes to hear about different cultures, right? It's a very good line to use also. You like to learn about different cultures, right? This is the oldest culture in the world. So you could learn about different cultures. So also I wanted to go on, but I forgot that I mentioned there's 4 qualities that Krishna is very pleased with. Titikshaya, Karunya, Maitra. Maitra means we should approach people in a friendly way. In a very friendly way. Krishna is pleased. In Kali Yuga it's difficult, Manda samanda matayo manda bhagya vipadrita. In the age of Kali, people are short-lived, always quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So, to approach people in a friendly way, Krishna's pleased. Now, Krishna, of course, he's the best friend of everyone, right? Yeah. 5th chapter. Bhoktaram Yagatapasana Sarvalok. No. Yeah, friend of all living entities. Bhoktaram Yagatasam Sarvalokam Suradam Sarvutam Gyatam Shanti Mrishyati. So Krishna is the best friend of everyone, but in this world, if we distribute books to people, we're their friend. We're their friend because we're introducing Krishna to them. So amongst all the people that they may meet in this world, we're their best friend because we're introducing them to their real best friend, Krishna. And then, Samatvena Chasarvana Bhagavan Samprasidati. We should approach people equally. Everyone is a soul. One of the biggest problems in the world now is that people are so much into the bodily conception of life. He's black, she's white, that's Chinese, they're Russian, just all this is all, as Prabhupada said, skin disease. Skin disease. Everybody has this skin disease. Yeah. But we're actually the soul within. Everybody is a spiritual being. Everyone is part of Krishna. So when we go on book distribution, we're practicing these qualities. We're practicing these qualities. Just like when athletes or weightlifters, they want to get their muscles bigger. They have to practice. They work out. Yeah, they practice and they get stronger muscles. And they have a saying, no pain, no gain. Yeah? No pain, no gain. So when we go on book distribution, it's a workout. We're practicing on how to develop these qualities. And sometimes it can be a little painful. But that's good. What does Queen Kunti say? Vipida santuta tatra tatra jagatguru. Bhavato darsanyam yasat apuna bhavadarshanam. She prays for calamity. Anybody here pray for calamity? Me neither. She's such a great Vaishnavi. I don't know of anybody else that prays for calamity. So she prays for calamity. Because when calamity comes, she says, then I remember you. And by remembering you, then I overcome birth and death. So it's a blessing. Difficulty is a blessing in disguise because it gives opportunity for us to think of Krishna. Is it possible for the music to be turned down? Is that possible? I don't think it has to be that loud, right? I mean, it's a marriage ceremony, right? It's not a kirtan or anything. So, yeah, this book distribution gives opportunity for us to develop these wonderful qualities. And if we're not in that, as Prabhupada said, the fire of ordeal, if we're not in that situation where we're forced to develop these qualities, then these qualities may not develop. So it's nice opportunity to develop wonderful qualities. Any other question, comment? Yeah.
Many a times, sometimes the people say that why is Krishna proclaiming himself? Why is Krishna proclaiming himself to be God? Does that suit him? If he is
People
God,
ask that?
yes.
Only in India, right?
And it is either the Brahma Kumari followers or the Buddhists or maybe sometimes Hindus also. They say such things that he's so great. How can a great person keep on glorifying himself and ask for worship directly like this?
He's not glorifying himself. He's just stating the facts. He's just stating the truth. You know? I mean, somebody's got to tell the truth. There's so many rascals out there saying they're God, just cheaters, but Krishna's actually God. He's just telling the truth. Mata paratran nanyat kinchidasti demante. There's no truth superior to me. Everything is resting on me. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to accept some other rascal as God. I mean, when I read the Bhagavad Gita, it was just such an eye-opener. Finally, the truth is coming out. I was so happy to hear that there is a God and Krishna is that person. So we're very fortunate that we haven't been cheated. There's so many people in India being cheated by upasambradayas. People claiming to be God. So many. Like Prabhupada, he said that there's so many countries that are doing export. India also, we're doing export. Every month or so, another god is being exported. So many gods. So much cheating. As Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, there's the cheaters and the cheated. Some people want to cheat, some people they want to get cheated. So Prabhupada said, I didn't come here to cheat you. I came here to give you the absolute truth. So we're very fortunate. Yes? Okay. Any other question, comment? Yes.
So, while distributing books, we come across many people who have taken a book or who know that we are giving books across, like on the beach or on the traffic signals. And they also recognize, yeah, I met you and you spoke to me, that time I took this book. But I don't think so they read it or they just it is lying or something. So, whenever I distribute books, I came across many people like that. So, like, what to do? I think that I'm giving a book, I'm telling him I'm giving some seminars thing and calling to temple, but he may be not reading it.
There's one thing that we should understand. Books are patient. They wait. It's like sometimes people, when I'm distributing books, they tell me, no, I have no time. You hear that? No time. No time. I tell them, that's okay. Then you got to tell them, I'm going to tell you something that you've never heard about books. Books are patient. Take it with you now. You don't have time now, I know. But someday you'll have some time. So take it. And when you do pick it up, you'll be happy you have it. Tell them like that. So yeah, people have books that have been sitting in their homes for years and years. But these books are time bombs. They're sitting there. Tick, 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 tick. And eventually they're going to pick it up and then boom! Their material existence is finished. I'll tell you a nice story in this regard. There was one devotee, he was from Chapati. He was going on book distribution. And he went to one business office. And he had a stack of Bhagavad Gitas. And he went in there and he saw, they're having a meeting. So maybe about 6 or 7 businessmen. And he said, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were having a meeting. And then the person at the head of the table said, no, please come in. Give each of my colleagues a Bhagavad Gita and I'll cover the cost. Wouldn't that be nice on book distribution? So he said, okay. So there was the end of the meeting they were having there. So this man wanted to talk to this devotee. And they were talking, and then the devotee asked him, why are you so enthusiastic for your friends to get the Bhagavad Gita? He said, I'll tell you what happened to me. I have a wife and children. And at some point, I don't know why, but my wife started criticizing me and calling me names and very cruel speech. And my children saw that and they followed in the footsteps of their mother. And they also started speaking to me in a very cruel way, bad speech, terrible, criticizing, calling me names. And I was shocked, like, what happened? Why? And he just going on and on. And it was just, I didn't even want to go home. It was terrible. So I started drinking. That didn't help. So my life was just miserable. And I was thinking, I can't live like this. So I was going to commit suicide. I had some poison. And then I just happened to look up and I saw the Bhagavad Gita in the bookshelf. And I thought, well, nothing to lose now. So he said, I pulled down that Bhagavad Gita and I opened it up. And upon reading the first paragraph of the Bhagavad Gita, I felt so much relief. The introduction. So he said, I kept reading. I read the whole Bhagavad Gita in 6 days. All I was doing was eating, sleeping, and reading Bhagavad Gita. And when I finished reading the Bhagavad Gita, I had never been so happy in my life. So I was so joyful, I was so happy. I went to my home and I showed my wife, look at this. Look at this wisdom. I found this book. Look at this. So she became inspired too. And she apologized. And the children apologized. And they all became devotees. But it was sitting there for years. Tick, 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 tick. Yeah. So get the books out. Yeah, they may not read it now, but we don't know when they're going to read it. I'll tell you an interesting thing that happened. There was one man, he was out in the forest, on a forest walk. He had a dog with him. And as he was walking this dog, the dog stopped and was sniffing something. And he tried to pull him away, but the dog wouldn't budge, big dog. So he said, what are you smelling here? So he moved the leaves. Krishna book. What is this book doing out here in the middle of the forest? What is this? So he sat down and started reading it. And it was very nice. He liked it. Took it home. Became a devotee. The first time ever that a dog became the Vartma Pradarshika Guru. Disciple of Prabhupada. The man. Dog got some benefit there. So, what happened? Somebody got a book from somebody, Krishna book. Somehow it ended up in the forest. But that's not the end of the story, right? It was destined for that person, that young man, to get that book, for that dog to come by and point it out to him. Krishna works in mysterious ways. I'll tell you another amazing one. Radhanath Swami, before he came to India, he used to do a lot of college preaching out of New Vrindavan. He would go and he would do college preaching. But back then, the way all of us used to travel was we would hitchhike. Do you all know hitchhike? That's where we stand by the side of the road and we put our thumb out and we try to get people to stop to pick us up. So he was hitchhiking. That was our standard way of travel. We had no money, no cars, or very few. So one man picked him up. And Radhanath Swami was a very friendly person. So he said, hey, so what do you like to do? He said, well, I like to say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He said, really? Wow. What else do you like to do? Well, I like to read this book, Bhagavad Gita. Oh. Wow. How did you get the Bhagavad Gita? He said, oh, you won't believe it. I was at a store. And at the store, I bought this watermelon. One of these quarter, not the whole one, just a quarter of a piece. And I was eating it outside the store over a trash can. And it was slippery, so it fell into the trash. But it was a good watermelon. So generally I wouldn't do this, but it was a good watermelon. So I reached down there to get that watermelon, and I found this book, the Bhagavad Gita. And I'm thinking, why would anybody throw away such a nice book? I like to read, so I thought, well, let me take it home and read it. And then I reached down and got that watermelon. So he said, I took that home, and it was the most amazing book I ever read. I read it twice. And from reading the Bhagavad Gita, I started chanting this mantra, Hare Krishna. Very nice. So Radhanath Swami said, you know, I also chant this mantra, Hare Krishna. And that's my favorite book too, Bhagavad Gita. And I'm a devotee of Krishna. He said, you're a devotee of Krishna? Wow, I always wanted to be a devotee of Krishna. Isn't that amazing? This is wonderful. So he said, where are you going? I'm going home. I'm going to my temple in West Virginia. I said, really? There's a temple there? I said, yeah, temples everywhere. Really? Can I go? Radhanath Swami said, well, yeah, you're driving. Yeah. Let's go. All right, let's go. So it turns out that he was a welder. And just then they were building New Vrindavan, and they needed a welder. So he had $20,000 worth of welding equipment. So he helped build New Vrindavan and became a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Now one may think, someone threw the book in the trash. That's the end of that story, right? You would think that's it. No. Someone reaches in there and brings it out and becomes a devotee. I mean, wow. Krishna's amazing. Amazing. So we just got to get the books out there. Get the mercy out there. And Krishna knows how to put the book in the right hand. Right? Mystically. Very mystically. You want to hear another one? That's another forest one. Guy was out in the forest on a forest walk. In America, they have these outside latrines, toilets that are wall. So the way they have it is they have these the waters on the top, and you pull the string and the toilet flushes. You've probably seen these before. So the man went to the toilet and he pulled the string, and the whole thing crashed down. Water went flying everywhere, and there was a Bhagavad Gita in it. Completely drenched with water. But the man, he saw the cover, Bhagavad Gita. He said, oh, I've heard of this book. So although it was completely drenched, wet, he took it home, let it dry out, read it, and then he became a devotee. Amazing. So yeah, we just have to do our duty. Get the mercy out there. It's happening. India is amazing. I mean, so many millions of books are going out. And Prabhupada predicted, when Prabhupada was here, book distribution was not happening very much. It was very small, book distribution. It was all happening in America and Europe. Here it's very small. But he predicted that it will be big in the future. And sure enough, now, last year, New Delhi did 1,800,000 book points. Unheard of. That's the world record ever. So, ISKCON, Hare Krishna is very popular in India. And we want it to stay that way. Therefore, the golden rule, who knows what the golden rule is? Anybody know the golden rule for book distribution? The golden rule, don't forget this, it's very important. Everybody walks away with a good impression. That's the golden rule. Everybody walks away. If they don't walk away with a book, at least they walk away with a smile, feeling they've met a very nice gentleman or a very nice lady. This is called 5-star book distribution. There's 1 star and there's 5 star. Don't be a 1 star. 1 star means you're distributing books and you become attached and you become angry at them. No, don't get angry. We have to be tolerant. Sometimes people, they don't cooperate. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Don't be disturbed. Tolerant. Yeah. What else? What else is 1 star? Huh? Argue with people. Yeah, well, we can discuss with them, but don't get into a heated argument. Then you walk away disturbed, and they walk away disturbed. No good result. Anything else? Huh? Yeah, don't force. They've said no. You can try a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 times. You can try a little bit more. Try to, because they give arguments. You try to, in a nice way, but don't force too much. Sometimes the false ego gets involved. I'm going to force this person to take a book, and you're trying, and then he feels your false ego. And then he starts thinking, this guy's not going to convince me to take a book. Then it becomes a false ego clash. No Krishna. Just a false ego clash. So an important part of book distribution is depending on Krishna. We can't force people. Upatrasthana mantacha bharta bhokta maheshwar paramat meti chapyuko dehismin purushabra. This is a very nice meditation on book distribution. Sometimes I chant this verse like japa on book distribution. 1323, if you want to look it up. Krishna says, within this body there's none other transcendental enjoyer. He's the Lord, He's the Supreme Proprietor, He's the Overseer, and He's the Permitter. These 2 words are very important. He's the Overseer, and He's the Permitter. Nothing happens without the sanction of Krishna. Right? We can't force. If Krishna doesn't want it to happen, it's not going to happen. He's in control. So we have to depend on Krishna. Chetasa sarvakarmani mayasanya samapara. Always depend on me and work under my protection. In such consciousness, always, in such devotion, always be conscious of me. In such service, always be conscious of me. So we depend on Krishna, not on our abilities. This is why the sadhana is so important. We learn to depend on Krishna. What did Krishna tell Arjuna? Nimittamatram bhavasavyasajan. You just be an instrument in my hands. So we want to learn to be instruments in the hands of Krishna. And 5 star means, like I said, these 4 qualities. If we have these 4 qualities, 5 star. That's 5 star. Tolerant, compassionate, friendly. What's the last one? Equal to everyone. That's 5 star. I'll tell you a nice story in regard to this with one wonderful devotee who was the commander-in-chief of book distribution, Vijaya Prabhu. He was on book distribution and he approached one couple. Nice couple, and he was showing the book to them. And they said, no, thank you. We're not interested. We're Christians. And Vijaya Prabhu said, well, I want to thank you anyway for giving me your valuable time. And you're a very nice couple, and I hope you have a wonderful day today. And then they left, and they came back a half hour later and said, you were such a gentleman, we've changed our mind. We will take a book and give you a donation. See? That's 5-star. So that's what we're shooting for. And if you go out on book distribution as a 5-star book distributor, you're going to be real happy. Because you're in the proper consciousness. Krishna's pleased. Anything else?
How did you come to Krishna consciousness?
Okay. You want to hear? I grew up in Los Angeles. And I went to visit a friend. And on the television set was a yogi speaking about spiritual things. And it sounded a little interesting. So after the talk, there was some mention that there's places in Los Angeles where you can go and you can learn more. So I thought, all right, let me check it out. So I went there, and you go to 3 days of seminars, and after 3 days, if you want, you can buy a mantra. Yeah. See, in the West, we're very naive. We didn't know you don't buy mantras. So I bought my mantra. $120 for 2-syllable mantra. Very expensive. Back then, now it's like $500. This is back in the 70s. So $60 for each mantra, for each syllable. 2 syllables. Yeah. Very expensive. Prabhupada said, I could have made so much money. Hare Krishna mantra is 32 syllables. But he said, I haven't come here to cheat you. Hare Krishna mantra is free to everyone. So I started chanting this mantra. You do it 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, and it's supposed to help you. It didn't say in what way it helps you, it just makes you more peaceful. And it helped me slow down a little bit, because young American, Southern California, all the nonsense that goes on with a young boy in Southern California, America, crazy stuff. So it helped me slow down. And I started reading books on philosophy and meditation and yoga. And then I decided that Los Angeles probably isn't a good place for spirituality. So I decided to leave Los Angeles in search for a paradise, or I could do my spirituality with like-minded people. So then before I left, I got this book by Baba Ramdas. Baba Ramdas was an American guru, very famous at that time, still a little famous. So I went traveling, I'm reading this book, and in the book he says, as one goes on one's spiritual journey, he becomes detached from family and friends and material things and money and all these things. He becomes detached. So I thought, all right, that makes sense. You go on a spiritual journey, then you become detached from material things. Made sense. So I'm traveling, and someone stole all my things. So I thought, okay, that's good. Didn't give it up on my own. It's taken away, all right, good. Feeling some detachment, forced upon me. So then I thought maybe the Bahamas would be a good place for spirituality. Bahamas are some islands that are on the southeast of America, about 200 miles from Florida. So I flew to the Bahamas, and it was terribly materialistic, horrible. So I decided to fly back to Miami, but before I flew back, the night before I left, someone stole all my money. I thought, wow, it's working, This process is working, good. So I was very happy. Actually, up to that point, I had never been so happy in my life, because I knew something is going to happen and I'm never going to go back to material life again. So I was very happy. I was just waiting for the next page to open up, anticipating. So somehow I still had my ticket back to Miami, I had my passport, and I had this book. So I flew back to Miami and I'm hitchhiking, not knowing where I'm going. Just hitchhiking. So someone picked me up and he said, "So where are you going?" I said, "I don't know. God or some higher force has me on this journey. I don't know where I'm going, but I like it." So he said, "Well, you're going to need money wherever you're going to go. So go down to Key West, get a job, you'll have some money, then at least you'll be able to survive." So I took that as divine providence. So I hitchhiked down to Key West, I got a job, and I'm still reading this book by Baba Ram Dass. When I finished the book, I saw books recommended to read. One of them was Bhagavad Gita. So when I saw those two words, Bhagavad Gita, I thought, wow, that looks like an interesting book. Mystical, you know, Bhagavad Gita. So I went to the public library in Key West. Key West is the southernmost city in America. Tropical. So when I went to the library, there was 4 different Bhagavad Gitas. So now what to do? Fortunately, our BBT made our Bhagavad Gita more attractive, so I pulled out Prabhupada's. Otherwise, who knows where I'd be now, right? Scary. I'm scared to think of it. So I took it to my apartment, and I couldn't put it down. I couldn't put it down. As I'm reading it, it was like, wow, now I've reached my goal. This is the goal. This is what I've been trying to achieve, this knowledge. So from reading the Bhagavad Gita, I started chanting Hare Krishna. The other mantra, I threw out the window. So I loved chanting Hare Krishna. I couldn't put the book down. I read it in like 5 days, 6 days. Couldn't put it down. It was amazing. So I also had this job. So I had a job where there was nobody around, so I was just chanting Hare Krishna all day. I was reading Bhagavad Gita and chanting Hare Krishna. So after 3 days of that, I walked out of my workplace, and 100 meters from the exit, devotees were doing Harinam. So I went over to them and I said, "Hey, you guys are chanting the same mantra I chant." And they said, "You chant Hare Krishna?" I said, "Yeah, all day long in that building I've been chanting Hare Krishna." I said, "Oh, really? Wow." So they preached to me for a couple hours. And they said, "You know, we have a little ashram here in Key West. If you want, you could come and join. You could move in." I said, "All right." So I moved in that night. And at their place, they had more books I was reading. One of them was Nectar of Instruction. And Prabhupada mentions in the Nectar of Instruction, one of the purports, that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if one does not chant 64 rounds a day, one is considered to be a fallen soul. So I was new and innocent, and I was thinking, well, I don't want to be a fallen soul. It didn't sound good, you know. So I started chanting 64 rounds a day. But I was still working, so that was not possible. So I brought it down to 32. So I was chanting 32 every day. And then they told me, you know, in Miami we have a real temple. This is just a little center we have. But there we have a real temple, and there you can get trained up. So I said, all right. So I went to Miami. Nice temple, beautiful temple, 8 acres. 6 acres was just flowers. So we were sending flowers to all the temples in America for their deity worship. So one of my services was picking flowers. And of course, washing Krishna's pots. And there was 80 mango trees, good mangoes. We had mango pie, mango ice cream, mango cake, mango chutney. We had mango coming out our ears. And there was banana trees, and remember it's tropicals. There was really, really, really nice. And we had peacocks and ducks, and there was a little lake there. It was very beautiful. Remember when I left LA, I was looking for paradise. So that was paradise. Krishna sent me to paradise. So that's how I joined. Prabhupada's book, Bhagavad Gita. Any other question or comment? Okay, I think it's a little late. What time is it anyway? Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.